So yeah, they say when you're going through hell, keep going. You know, and that's something that's attributed to Karl Marx. But really, if you're having a tough time, which happens, you just got to start over. You can start over in the middle of the day. You can start over the next day. But just like staying in it, and by staying in it, I mean living in the past. It's just really easy, like a mindset thing. And I did a little thing about failure. And what is failure? Is failure because you don't get what you want? Is failure your goals aren't achieved? What is it exactly? So I could take, for example, smoking. So I went from smoking a pack a day probably about 4 years ago to a point now where sometimes it's one, sometimes it's none. Right now it's like one a day. I could say maybe that's failure. Is it really though? My intention is to quit completely, and I've had probably more time over the last 4 years that I wasn't smoking than time when I was. I've had some recent goals that I've been working on, and you could say I didn't, quote unquote, meet the mark. But is that really failure? Or is it failure because I didn't try at all? Is it failure because I wanted something and I didn't get it? If I don't really enjoy the process, let's say I get what I want, will I be happy then? Will that be the end justifying the means? Will that be the time where I'll be happy? Will I be happy like a year from now, 6 months from now, in the future, someday? Is that the healthiest way to live? I don't think so. I think it's probably easier, the scripture that sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof, which takes me back to the original premise that I started with, which is that all I got to do is deal with today's evil and make the best of it today. And then anything else, I got to approach it as it comes up. If I approach it as, let me focus on tomorrow's evil, I'm not dealing with what I have today. And when I look at my purpose, what is my purpose in saying all that? Maybe this is a little bit of a oral journal. Maybe this is a little bit of me just talking to myself. Maybe this is a little bit of a prayer. Maybe this is a little bit of me just trying to air out my ideas. But failure is not the end. Failure just means I didn't meet the mark. I didn't make it to where I just got to keep going. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof.